Hello fellow guitarists and welcome to review of the Ibanez RG7621, which is the first ever production non-signature 7-string. I think let's start with a bit of the history of this guitar, because the first ever production 7-string was Steve Vai's signature Ibanez Universe, which had a relative success. By relative success, it means someone bought it, but it never became popular. Right before nu metal bloomed and guys like Korn made 7-string popular again. And so, to meet the demand of a 7-string, Ibanez made this model. It was made in two different variations. It was 7621, which we have here, and 7620, which is same exact model but with an edge tram system. In terms of specs, we are having basswood body with two humbuckers, fixed bridge on 7621 and a tremolo on 7620, as I mentioned before. We should have had one volume, one tone, but in this case volume is moved to tone position and volume knob is removed by a kill switch. 5-way blade. We have a bolt-on maple neck, rosewood fretboard, 7 inline tuners. In terms of scaling, this guitar has a standard Fender scale 25.5, which will be good if you are going to play in B standard, drop A, maybe something a bit lower. But if you want to go in drop G and more, I would suggest you go for the guitar with 26.5-inch scale length or go for a multi-scale. This guitar was the part of the line that would later become Ibanez Prestige, and it was manufactured as every Prestige on Fujigen factory, and as every Prestige it came along with the hardshell case. That is standalone, can now be bought for $100–150, depends on a condition of the case. The case itself made out of hard plastic, metal, and inside features a blue plush. So let's start with the review, and once again I will be making a few pauses to speak about different variations and different spec options through the years, because this guitar was manufactured from 1998 to 2003 and had a bit of a spec change. So let's start with the headstock. And as you can see here, the headstock is put in place by a scarf joint. It's done for a few reasons. First of all, it's to save a bit of the wood, because making angle headstocks requires far more material. And second is this type of a neck joint is a bit less prone to headstock break. So once again, it's beneficial to everyone. On a headstock, we are having a serial number which tells us that guitar was made in 1999 in May. Also on a headstock, we are having original Goto tuners. They are non-locking, but they are very good, and as you can see, I almost managed to emulate the locking mechanism on it. It's less than one wind. Also, I will show a bit of different things from previous owner, because I am a third owner. And you can see here, it's probably my favorite used mark. It's a few little dings that probably was made by previous owner's cat. And I find this thing rather cute. Also, I love guitar with stories, and this one has a really interesting one. I am at least third owner. The first one was the guitarist from Odessa who played in mathcore band Dumai, and the second was the collector from whom I got this exact guitar. Also on a headstock, we are having, as you can see, made in like this mirrorish inlay, the Ibanez logo, so it's kind of like mirroring. It looks rather cool. And also a truss rod cover, which is held in place by 3 screws, and I find this thing rather uncomfortable. The other thing about truss rod here is that it's not adjusted by a hex screw. You need a special key, which I show you later. Also, it has a pretty unique dimensions, so your original truss rod key from guitars like a Gibson will not work here, which is rather sad. And then we are coming to the first thing that was upgraded on this guitar, and I would rather not have it upgraded. Originally we should have had a plastic nut, but we are here having a Graphtag. I know that the work on this guitar was made by Tadika Custom Repair Shop. You should know about them, they have a pretty big channel on YouTube. But as you can see here, the nut is not cut perfectly. You can see that it has a bit misplaced cut for a 6th string. It's a bit moved to the 5th string instead of like being in the middle. Nothing crucial, but once again, it's not a job well done. So yes, and also there will be a few other things that I should mention about it. And also, second problem about the nut is that it's not perfectly sanded inside, so the higher strings, it kind of sticks while moving through it, and it's not the most pleasant feeling, so sometimes it doesn't respond exact to like fine tuning, so you need to like to bend the string if you're going down. So basically I always need to like drop the string lower and then tune it up if I need to. On this guitar I can only tune up to the perfect pitch, but afterwards it's staying in tune amazingly great. So now let's go to the neck and fretboard, and here is one of the most unique features of this guitar, and this feature is neck dimensions. It's not a wizard. The neck shape is called RG7, which is basically wizard but a bit thicker. Probably Ibanez experimented with different neck thicknesses to make the neck more stable. So as the result of this, we are having 21.5 millimeters on the 1st fret and 23 millimeters on the 12th. Compare this to this Wizard 2, which has 19 on the 1st and 21 on the 12th. So basically this neck starts at thickness where that one ends. But I remeasured it. It's pretty expected for the guitar neck to become a bit thinner during its lifespan because of the fretboard leveling, but the fretboard here has some resource, so it's definitely not very thin, and the dimensions of the neck only 0.5 millimeter thicker than on this one, so there is almost no difference, but the hand still tires a bit less while I'm playing. So I find this exact neck shape and thickness just a bit more to my liking. Overall, because it's still a D shape that is very flat and very pleasant to play, I don't find this neck in any shape or form inferior to Wizards. And main reason for being so is because being a bit thicker make it a bit less tiring to play during a long sessions, so I don't find any uncomfortabilities by playing this neck instead of that one, and overall I find this personally more comfy for me than playing Wizard 2. In terms of radiuses of the fretboard, we are having 430 millimeters, which translates to a bit more than 17 inches. It's a very flat fretboard, and it's very nice, to be honest. Once again, being rather flat makes this guitar a glorious thing to shred on, and the second thing that is really improves the shreddability of the instrument is frets. It's not the original frets. Once again, in Tadika Repair Shop, they replaced original nickel frets to the stainless steel one. The owner said that he doesn't know the brand that they used, simply can't remember because he did it 6 years ago, but I can say the frets are in perfect condition, so I think it's a jazz car. Overall, the fret sizes are medium jumbo, so it's like exactly the same dimensions as you find on original Ibanez model before the fret swap. And overall, they are really good. And the action here can be set up really, 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 really low. For example, I will grab here 0.88 flow pick. I can easily stick it underneath the 12th fret, and I can even move it a bit. No, I cannot. No, it sticks underneath like 13th, 14th fret. The place after which it starts falling off changes from like 17 to like 14, 13 fret because, well, you know, neck changes a bit because of weather. But overall, the neck here is extremely stable. So I set it up once. I did this in late autumn and I haven't touched it since, and nothing changed. It's like that stable. So yeah, I love it. Also, as you can see here, it's a one-piece maple, and this thing was changed during the production. So the first 2 years has a one-piece maple neck. It's not a radial cut, nothing. Simply, it looks like it's an opposite of radial cut. So yeah, but it does not affect stability. And afterwards, from the year 2000 and forwards, we are having a three-piece neck. We have two maple sides with a central stripe of bubinga, and same scarf joint, which in my personal opinion looks terrible. But this exact specimen has extremely stable neck. It's nice to play. Also, you can see it's glossed out because of years of playing, yet it's still just amazing to play. And the other drawback from Tadika's work on this guitar was a burn mark from a soldering iron. You can see it here. I will have a close-up shot. It's small circular burn mark that, although do not pop that much, simply it's not that good that it's present. Someone left the thing, touched the fretboard, and it left a burn mark. And the last one is how the spaces for new frets was cut. So you can see they did not cut the edges, and the cut on the bass side goes deeper than the fret itself, which is simply not very pleasant to look upon, and also it collects a dirt. Now let's go to the body. In terms of body, we're having basswood body finished in black. Originally, guitar came in two extremely original and interesting colors, which was gloss black and gloss white. Afterwards, they introduced few other different colors. And you can see, being a gloss guitar, it collects all the fingerprints you can imagine. Yes, so you touch the guitar and you already have a few fingerprints, which is not that pleasant. I wanted to polish the guitar before filming the video, but I decided that you should see it, as you probably will if you'll be using it in real world. Also, here I need to talk about the upgrades that was done here, because electronics was swapped twice. The first owner threw away the original pickup, which was DiMarzio 7. Sometimes you can find online, mostly in catalogs from Ibanez, that they used DiMarzio Blazes here. They didn't. They used DiMarzio 7, like a custom pickup for them. I didn't find it anywhere else. So he threw away original DiMarzio 7 in the bridge, installed EMG 707, and installed a kill switch and moved the volume to the tone position. As a result of this, he had a dummy switch because it was an active pickup, so he left this one also as a dummy. Then, previous owner, the guitar collector, saw the EMG 707, said, "This thing will not be in my guitar," grabbed the bare knuckle Juggernaut, and also sent the guitar to luthier, who made, as you can see, original spacing for the pickup. So you can see that it was a soap bar here beforehand. You can see the place where it was installed. It doesn't really catches your eye if you don't know it's there, but it is. Also, he did swap all the electronics, so we here have a DiMarzio pot. We're having a 5-way switch, and he swapped out the original Ibanez wiring, which you will see here, for a bit different one, but it works once again pretty good. In terms of body, it's a proven classic, an RG, which has a neck heel called all-access neck joint, so it's once again gives you good access to upper frets, and also it's a bit scooped, so you can grab the guitar by the neck joint a bit easier. You don't have any arm cutaways here or here, but you have a huge belly cut, which I found amazing, and also you have a pretty great arm carve. I need to state that this exact finish is not original. Guitar had a lot of chips, so the previous owner simply brought it to the shop, and when they installed the new mounting bracket for the pickup, they simply removed all the paint, painted it over once again, and finished all in the gloss finish. So basically it's a restoration work. In terms of bridge, we are having Ibanez hardtail. It's the thing that was before Gibraltar. It's not bad, not good, to be honest. It's your standard hardtail bridge. It does the same work, but you can see here the guitar is set up really low, but you can see that some of the saddles are simply laying on the bridge. This leads to you feeling the screws of the saddles while you're muting, and this is probably the only drawback I can find. Also, really important thing to note is that you cannot interchange this bridge with Gibraltars, although they have the same mounting points. The string through body construction will simply not allow you to use Gibraltars there. You will need to re-drill the holes, and the only replacement you can find is Hipshot EB 1st Gen. They are still making those, at least they made those like a few months ago, and this is the only one you can swap out with. But overall, bridge is absolutely okay, except for one thing, and it's a really interesting one. You can see here, if you look closely on the inlays that are centered, you can see that string somewhere here starts to move off the center of the inlay. And eyes do not deceive you. The bridge itself is a bit moved to the treble side. It's not important. It required me like 1 or 2 days to get used to, but the only drawback here is that it can be problematic if you want to tap in more than octave range. I'll plug myself in and show you what I'm talking about. So I'll just tap some nonsense so you can understand what I'm talking about. Everything is fine here, but if you move for more than octave space, if you are pulling off downwards, the string falls off from the fret and you're having this annoying sound. You can fix this by simply pulling off upwards, which most of the guitar teacher will recommend you, but still you need to know. And I also saw the pictures of 7620 made in the same time span, also in May of 1999, and it has the same problem, but it has a tremolo bridge. So maybe there were some problems with CNC machines, or they simply placed the guitar wrong on the CNC, I don't know. But yeah, probably it's something wrong with the CNC machine calibration, because it's present on a few guitars made in very specific time span. But overall, if we even consider this drawback, guitar is extremely playable and has a lot of sustain. Except for one place, it's 10th and 11th fret on the G string, which has less sustain. I don't know why this problem is present. It doesn't link to the string height, because I can up the string height, the problem still remains. You can hear it here. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. It's enough of the sustain to even play here some slow parts, but it's still not very pleasant simply from how it sounds. But overall, I would say this guitar is really good. If not dead note in a bit misplaced bridge, I would say it would have been perfect. But no guitar is perfect, to be honest. Also, I made one little upgrade for it, and it was related to the jack. Because I recently started using the Dario cable with built-in kill switch, and you can see it has a pretty big bolt right after the jack. So this bullet jack, which is also really nice, was a little bit short for this exact guitar body, so it was inside the hole for it. And because of this, when I put in the cable, I was in a situation where this bolt around the jack itself was scrubbing around the hole for bullet jack. So what I did, I grabbed a piece of wood. It was kind of like a big toothpick that was used in culinary for checking out if the meat or the cake is dry enough, and simply put one piece here that made like this a little bit of spacing, and so now everything works perfectly. Also, another amazing thing about it is those strap pins, and you can see they are huge, and because of this, guitar straps do not fall off from this guitar, and this is amazingly great. To be honest, with these huge strap pins, you don't need strap locks on this guitar. I thought I will be swapping those things for strap locks, but I didn't. Overall, this guitar weighs 3.7 kilograms. You will have the exact amount in pounds, which make this guitar somewhere straight in the middle. Also, in terms of balance, it's relatively great. It still has a little bit of the neck dive, which is expected from a 7-string, but if you rest it against your body, the friction that you provide keeps it in place in like casual position, and if you're putting it in classical, it stays here dead. Once again, no problem. Also, yes, if you kind of provoke guitar to fall freely, yeah, it will try to fall off of you. Most of the time it will neck dive, but the neck dive is really, really subtle, which is once again expected from a 7-string. 7-strings do have neck dive most of the time. So overall, it's really good in terms of balance and no problem while you're standing up. In terms of electronics, I don't know who made this switch, but it feels amazing. Also about change wiring on this guitar, we are having different wiring on a 4th position. Instead of 2 single coils, inner ones, we are having only inner coil on the bridge humbucker, and in second, instead of a neck in parallel, we are having outer coil of neck pickup. Jumping to the tone demos. pickups. I really like how they sound on this guitar, mainly because they are really complementary of one another. In the bridge we are having modern, really aggressive, really punchy juggernaut that also has a lot of clarity, so it's, although really easy to get a good gainy sound on it, it still doesn't distort the sound on its own. On the other hand, DiMarzio 7 on itself may be a little bit dull and muddy, but when you add some reverb, some delay, and in a neck position, it's really good for some creamy leads. Once again, I don't believe that pickups are that important in a guitar. It's mostly a thing for us than for a listener, but how this guitar sounds simply makes me happy. Also, the coil split on Juggernaut is extremely interesting to work with. It's also works on clean, but I think its main purpose is for some cool, modern drop tuning riffs in which it really pops because it has this evil, aggressive, punchy sound still in the coil split position. Jumping to conclusions, this guitar is rather amazing. And although it has a really strange QC issue from factory, all others I cannot blame on Ibanez because they were made after the guitar was produced. Overall, I find this thing amazing. And here comes the most important thing: how much does it cost? Of course, guitar is not produced anymore, so it's on the used market. On the used market, these guitars ranges from somewhere around $700 to 1,000, 1,200s. They are in different conditions. Most of the time for 700 you get the guitar in Battle Axe condition, so basically there is no paint and finish on the sides of the guitar. Also, I saw one for $500, but I would definitely stay away from that one because it has a bridge pickup swapped out for Fishman, and it has a big guard over it, so I cannot even be sure if it's exactly this guitar. So overall, if you find this guitar for $800-900, I suggest you go for this one. For example, I got mine for $830 with something bucks with shipping. I got a really good seller, to be honest. Yeah, the guy sold me the thing for a really good price, and I'm extremely happy with this one. So overall, in terms of how good this guitar is, I would say it's really good. It's not perfect, but for the price, it's one of the best guitars you can get. Also, it's a great upgrade platform because it's relatively simple and you can swap out a lot of things in it. Overall, if I give this guitar an 8, this guitar is a 9. But in terms of price, this guitar is the greatest deal I ever had. And big thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment of what you like, what you didn't. Especially feel free to share your experiences with Ibanez guitars and this one in particular. And once again, thank you for watching. Play good guitars.